morning. It's good to have you with us at 9 a.m. I'm Akshay Tandon. The Supreme Court has turned down plea on the sport Jallikattu, saying it's unfair to ask the bench to pass orders. As demands from various quarters continue to pour in for holding the festival, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Panneerselvam reaffirmed the resolve of his government to conduct the sport, saying it will not back off. Today, the DMK workers are to hit the streets demanding ordinance to let Jallikattu happen.
I'm sure the central government can pass an ordinance. They do it for so many other things, and they can pass an ordinance and ensure that Jallikattu happens during Pongal this year. See, they have been promising us from last year that Jallikattu will happen. The union ministers who came down to Tamil Nadu time and again promised the Tamil Nadu people that Jallikattu will happen during last year's Pongal, and it did not. And again they started saying the same thing after last year again. So obviously the people are very angry and emotional about it.
ने इस पर बहस में भाग लिया, मैं भी था। मैंने कहा कि जल्लीकट्टू होना चाहिए और ये जो लोग एनिमल प्रोटेक्शन के लिए एनजीओज हैं, ये सब विदेश से प्रेरित हैं, इनका कुछ पता नहीं है। और उसमें जल्लीकट्टू में सिर्फ मनुष्य को चोट लगती है, उसको नहीं लगती है। और जो कहते हैं कि उसको मिर्ची देते हैं, उसका पूंछ काट देते हैं, ये सारी चीजें जो है उस पर हम रोक लगा सकते हैं। है तो अभी तक मैंने नहीं देखा। जल्लीकट्टू तो मेरा जो घर है मदुरई, वही है शहर जहां प्रमुख है, तो ऐसा तो मैंने नहीं देखा। और ये सिर्फ जल्लीकट्टू नहीं, महाराष्ट्र में और कर्नाटक में वो जो बैलों की रेस होती है कीचड़ में, वो भी एक उसको भी बैन किया। उस पर वहाँ सब कानून हिसाब से चल रहे हैं। ये तमिलनाडु में क्या ये पृथकवाद का जो अंग्रेजों ने दिमाग में भरा है, ये द्राविड़ा आंदोलन में, वही है ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम। बट उनको एक जगह दिखा दो, कह दो कि हम प्रेसिडेंट रूल लगा देंगे तो सब ठीक हो जाएंगे।
लेकिन सर दूसरी जो रीजनल पार्टी है वो भी इसको लड़ रही है।
कौन सी रीजनल पार्टी? साहब क्या करेंगे? मैंने देखा जब 1991 में मैं मिनिस्टर था, चंद्रशेखर प्रधानमंत्री थे, तो एलटीटी के नाम पर इन्होंने बड़ा हंगामा कर दिया था, कश्मीर से भी बुरा हालत कर दिया था। तो तब मैंने कहा था चंद्रशेखर को, मुझे दे दो तमिलनाडु और मैं प्रेसिडेंट रूल लगा के दिखाता हूँ। तो उन्होंने कहा तुम्हारी जिम्मेदारी है, और मैंने लगाया। 24 घंटे में सब ठंडा, सब जाकर अपने घर में छिप गए। करुणानिधि को भी मुझे ढूंढना पड़ा, कोई घर के बाहर ताला लगाकर अंदर बैठ गए। तो ये इसीलिए जब तक सरकार अपनी जो दायित्व है उसको निभाएगा ही नहीं, तो बाकी लोग सब अकड़ जाएंगे।
तो प्रेसिडेंट रूल मानते हैं आप?
नहीं, मैं कहता हूं कि यदि ये सरकार वहां के सुप्रीम कोर्ट के अवमानने में वो रोकेगी नहीं, उस जल्लीकट्टू को होने देगी, उसमें कोई प्रयास नहीं करेगी रोकेंगे, तो फिर गवर्नमेंट को, सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट को डिसमिस करना चाहिए।
मतलब कहीं ना कहीं स्टेट गवर्नमेंट की अब इस पे सवाल जवाब।
हाँ सर, इसको उनको कहना चाहिए, फोन करके बताना चाहिए कि कर देंगे।
सर दूसरा सवाल इलेक्शन में साक्षी महाराज को लेकर सवाल खड़े करें कि
Let's go across to my colleague Lokpriya joining us with further details on the phone line. Good morning, Lokpriya. We're looking at how the regional parties, the ruling regime of AIADMK as well as the DMK, are hell-bound on having Jallikattu being performed. So much so DMK is also hitting the streets today. Tell us about how this really continues to go against what the Supreme Court had said.
Well, this is Priyambada, Akshay.
I'm sorry, Priyambada. Go ahead. Good morning. Go ahead.
Good morning. So obviously, this is definitely all the political parties in Tamil Nadu with just one day left for the Jallikattu to be conducted are hitting the streets now. DMK is conducting a protest. But the question remains, why none of these political parties acted when even last year Jallikattu was not conducted? There was one solid year for them where they could have ensured that the central government brought in an ordinance and it gets ratified by the parliament. But they did not do that. They were waiting, or they could have even sought the legal recourse where they could have gone to the Supreme Court, knocked at the Supreme Court door and insisted on getting an order, early order. But now in the last minute, all of them trying to politicize this issue shows nothing but they are trying to politicize the issue.
Okay.
That is what it shows and nothing more.
Absolutely. Priyamvada also explained to us, like we know that this festival was not really conducted in full toto. Of course, there were some, instances where perhaps locally they were. But what was the larger impact? Because as you're saying, this is nothing more than just, political vote bank that these parties are looking at. But individually speaking, on the ground, what sort of a difference did it really make emotionally to people, culturally to people, traditionally, if this sport wasn't performed last year around?
Last year we witnessed there were small level protests, but at the end of the day, people had kind of given up. You cannot defy law, you cannot challenge that has been told by the Supreme Court, and that too not once or twice, but 3 times. That too, the ultimate bench of the Supreme Court had passed an order clearly consisting of CJI, in fact, last time, had clearly said that the Jallikattu cannot happen. Obviously, there are sentiments, but then they didn't want to defy law, and last time we saw everyone was lying low, and police protection was there to ensure that they don't defy law.
All right, we'll leave it at that for a moment, Priyamvada. Thanks very much for joining us with those details. Some reactions coming in.
With the Honorable Supreme Court's announcement this morning that the verdict on the Jallikattu case is not going to come before Saturday, the ball is now firmly in the court of the central government. Are they going to issue an ordinance? Because yesterday the Environment Minister, Mr. Anil Dave, did say that they would wait for the court order and then take a decision. Now it is known that the court order is not going to come before Saturday. What is the central government going to do? If they are going to come up with an ordinance, when is that ordinance going to be issued is the question uppermost on everyone's mind.
The centre and the state have ordinance making powers. They can enact legislation and try to hold Jallikattu. Tomorrow the DMK is holding a statewide protest to ventilate the opinion of the people. The sentiments of the people are in favor of holding Jallikattu this year. As you know, we have not been able to hold Jallikattu for 2 years. So we are hoping that the centre and state take into consideration the people's opinions on this and finally take some action.
Our application to vacate the stay is still pending. So what we had requested, made a prayer before the court is to list the matter tomorrow so that some order could be passed as an interim measure. But however, after hearing the court, Honorable Court has refused that prayer. Said that we are in the process and drafting and delivering the judgment, so you have to wait for some time. The court did not fix any time. It only said be patient, at the earliest it will come.
I definitely would blame both the BJP government and the Congress government for this ban on Jallikattu, and they have not taken any proactive measures to ensure Jallikattu is allowed in the state of Tamil Nadu. And we are law-abiding citizens. We will not go against the order of the Supreme Court, like how the Karnataka government and the people of Karnataka didn't give water after the order of the Supreme Court. But we will definitely follow the order of the Supreme Court, and we wish and pray to the Honorable Supreme Court that they give a positive order in favor of the majority people of the state, and with a monitoring committee, with a tag, with a strict rule which says that they should not give any kind of cruel actions, do any cruel actions to the animal, and Jallikattu should be allowed with the monitoring committee of the Honorable Supreme Court.
This must be understood properly, and government will have to do something. Government will have to go for a speedy appeal for a review of judicial verdict given today, and central government and state government must work together to see that Jallikattu is allowed in the state of Tamil Nadu.
We can't interpret like that because this is the verdict of the court, and every party, every individual in the country has to obey the verdict of the court.
What is amazing to me that even our environment minister yesterday went to the extent of saying that we would urge the court. I mean, you are almost dictating the court to give a particular kind of judgment. I mean, that's not desirable. Mr. Venkaiah Naidu, I have heard, they spoke about Jallikattu should be. But then I think there are moments when we are prepared to do away with certain traditions because they are violative of certain other provisions and certain other important principles.
sometimes when the courts take a decision, it's a far-reaching decision. It advances our way of thinking very rapidly. But ordinary people take time to understand that. So I think the duty really is on social leaders and political leaders to explain that in the overall context, this is not a bad thing. But how do you do this, in how much time you're going to change attitudes, etc., it's not an easy job. And I think that one must appreciate that there will be a lot of political pressure and a huge responsibility on local leaders to find a solution.